Arsenal fans don't deserve to win anything. Half of them have never supported, or even worse, half of them have never supported, and even worse, they always blame the wrong people. Owners are a shambles, is what Abraham says here about Arsenal. Jeez. What do you guys make of Arsenal yesterday?
I have to start this section off. First, I want to talk about Arsenal. Listen, yesterday I did a watch along. I was thinking Arsenal win 1-0 at the Emirates, Arsenal win 2-1 at the Emirates, and they make this interesting for St. James's Park. Let's all establish something. This is over. Everyone stop lying to yourself. You want to talk about mentality, all this bullshit, it's done. You're not going to go to a stadium where you had one shot on target in 2 years and score 3 goals with no reply. That's just not objective. That's just not realistic. It's finished. It's done. Arsenal are now out of the Carabao Cup. The Liverpool versus Newcastle final is going to be a very interesting one. Let's see if we can beat them in the Carabao Cup final. But it's going to be a very interesting final. But when it comes to Arsenal yesterday, Arsenal had a pathetic performance, pathetic display, to be honest with you. And it's just not good enough. If you're an Arsenal fan, you have to call this out. And I understand someone might say we don't care about the Carabao Cup. No problem. You don't care about the Carabao Cup. But guess what? It's the semi-final now. There is no one who doesn't care about the competition when it gets to semi-final level. Everyone cares about the competition at semi-final level. When you get to an advanced stage of a competition, it becomes an important competition. So when it comes to Arsenal Football Club, this was a chance for them to get some success. This was a chance for them after building their team to actually get something. And at the end of the day, they've just got to the position where they're just absolutely pathetic right now. And the reason why there is no excuses because there was no excuse from a player missing perspective, because just like you missed your best player, they missed their.
I think there's muted. Oh, your mic cut off.
Your mic cut off again. Don't turn it up like you did before, though. It just cut off again. Something went.
It just cuts off. Like there's no volume.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
You might have
so
a
as I
wire.
was saying, okay, so I'm going to just stay from here. As I was saying, when it comes to Arsenal, it's the fact that it's the best player from Newcastle missing and the best player from Arsenal missing. And even they didn't even have Fabian Schär. You have a lot better squad. So I would expect that Arsenal do something. But there's a big criminal in all this. Mikel Arteta. And that's the big criminal in all this, because you have to find a style and a system that gets the best out of your players. And he hasn't done that. And you have to find the solution. Me and Mo did this on MHF 5-6 days ago. We went through the time where Liverpool lost out on Mo and Mane for a whole month. He just wasn't there. They just weren't there. By the way, Senegal got to the final. Egypt got to the final. 2 best forwards literally out. We found an in-house solution. Oxlade-Chamberlain, you moved to the right. Fabinho started scoring goals. Fabinho scored 5 goals in 8 games. Now, I'm not going to be shameless and say Arteta blamed the ball. He didn't, because he got asked the question. So I'm not going to be doing anything. He got asked the question, but I'm just criticizing the way he responds to the question, because you could just say, listen, yes, it's a different ball, but it has no effect on the result. You could just said that politely and just kept it stepping. But the biggest criminal in all this is Terry Flowers, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Mr. Arsenal are scary. That's the biggest criminal and culprit in this whole conversation. Arsenal are not scary anymore. They don't scare anyone. And this has been proven yesterday. Newcastle United came to the Emirates with no Bruno Gomares, with no Fabian Schär, and they took off Alexander Isak with 30 minutes to go. I have never seen Newcastle took the absolute piss out of Arsenal. They took off Isak with 30 minutes to go. They were so sure they aren't going to concede a goal. At the end, they were playing 5-5-0. That was their formation. I'm disappointed Terry didn't make on the stream yesterday. Newcastle are scary. Hey Terry, what's going on with your team? Talk to me.
Do you know what's really I've enjoyed about the last 24 hours is the amount of DMs I've had, the amount of messages I've had, and obviously people still writing Arsenal was scary. And look, I'll give a serious answer and I'll have a bit of fun with it. It's not something I like saying too often, but I wasn't wrong 2.5 years ago when I said Arteta and Arsenal look scary. When I said they would become title contenders that season, they proved me right. They've they reached that level. They almost won it 2 years running. The irony in it is this, and this is what I love about social media, and I genuinely mean this from a positive point of view, is there's certain things you must have all experienced this. There's certain things you say, no matter what you say after, people remember that one thing. I haven't predicted Arsenal for the last 2 seasons to win the league, but yet I got people DMing me yesterday saying, "You still think they're winning the league this year?" I didn't predict it. I didn't say they were going to win the league. But on a real level, yeah, Arsenal got themselves to that level that I expected to 2.5 years ago. They looked formidable in periods of the last 2 seasons. They developed a team that I did feel, and again, I'm talking my perspective, as someone that was still in the mud as a United fan, they worried me. They were always there with us. They were always the banter club in that regard. No matter how bad your team did, Arsenal were always there to pick up that mantle, and they kind of left us behind, and it frustrated me. But you got to give credit where credit's due. This season, though, in my opinion, they haven't reached those same heights. I didn't think they started too badly. They started slow, but that's normal. Most of the big clubs start quite slowly, but get results. If I think back to the PSG game in the Champions League, they look great. They look really good. They pressed well. They attacked well. I remember you two gentlemen, and I'm not trying to pass the buck here. I'm just trying to, like, case in point, in the sort of September and October, you were waxing lyrical about them, and I thought they'd continue to grow. They just haven't done that. And I think Mikel Arteta, I don't necessarily know. Listen, I'm not saying anyone's wrong. It may be that he's telling the players not to attack as much. It may be a case of him becoming much more pragmatic than he needs to be. I think that's a fair point. There's certain players that have just not got to the levels. The biggest mistake I made is thinking that, in terms of an opinion, and opinion's an opinion, is I thought Martinelli and I thought Trossard. If I look at Martinelli and Trossard, they're 2 players that I thought would be doing much better for Arsenal than they are right now. Kai Havertz has done what Kai Havertz does. I think he's been a decent signing for them, scored quite a few goals, but we know he isn't the clinical guy. Should have scored that chance yesterday, by the way, but he's never going to be that prolific 30-goal a season in all comp guy. But I really did think Martinelli and Trossard would deliver a lot more in that attack than they have done. I also think, and I thought about this long and hard without saying anything, I'd listened to everybody else's conversations. Declan Rice playing as the 8 doesn't work for me. I think when he's a 6, when he's breaking up play, when he's winning the ball back, when he's kind of starting off the attacks from that position, that's where he's at his absolute best. And I look at Arsenal and I think maybe it's a system. Maybe the players are getting bored of this manager. Maybe it's time for something new. Or could it just be go out and buy a goal scorer, go out and buy a genuine replacement for Xhaka? And I think maybe you see a different Arsenal again. I don't necessarily think I'm seeing some gooners keep faith. That's fair. I'm seeing others. I watched a few shows last night, a few match reactions where they're talking about the team and the squad and the club like it's on the brink of disaster. I don't think it's that bad. You go out now, and I'm going to name a couple of players. You go out and sign Mbeumo and Gyökeres. It's a different Arsenal. I think Arsenal would look a different team. You go out and get a very good midfield player that can go into playing that kind of 6 role, up and 8 role, up and down the pitch, and go and get Gyökeres. It's a very different Arsenal team. And if I was a gooner, what I'd be frustrated about on a real level is why every link, and we're talking about 2 of them on the show today, but might as well do it now that you brought it up. They want Nico Williams. Dangerous on that left-hand side. Not been too prolific this season, but dangerous. They're linked to Mbeumo. Isak news today. They want Isak, top of the list. But everything's the summer. That would frustrate me as an Arsenal fan because I feel like they're really close still, but they're not spending now. And maybe you guys see it differently to me. I don't understand why they're not investing now. But in terms of the scary stuff, look, when I said it, I meant it. When I said it, I believed it. What I predicted at that point came true. Not everything I predicted, because no one's predictions fully come. I had a gooner. He DM'd me last night saying, "Oh, you told us we were scary and that we were going to become title challengers." I said, "You did." He went, "Yeah, but look at us now." I said, "But what's that got to do with me? I don't understand. I don't know what I did." I also said back to him, because he's a good guy, he's a nice guy. I said, "You predicted that you wouldn't make top 4 that season. You were wrong. What's that got to do with, like, you're not the, I don't get it." But listen, you can point the finger at me all you want. I don't care. It's not the end of the world for me, but on a real conversation about Arsenal, which I think is where Gooners should spend most of their time, rather than pointing fingers at me or a Babs or a Robbie or a Troops or a Curtis Shaw. You're the reason. I'll tell you now, no social media content creators are a reason that Arsenal didn't win the game last night. They need to go and spend some money. But I don't know, boys. I want to throw this back to you. Why?
Before the other two go, I just want to say one comment.
Yeah, go on.
I think the best thing Arsenal can do right now is get rid of Arteta and hire a different manager. Because I think they just need a different voice.
Mid-season.
And I'm not saying get rid of Arteta like he's a crap manager or he's a shit manager. I just think they need something new. They need something fresh. They need fresh
like
ideas.
now or later.
Yeah, like right now or in the summer.
But here's the thing. What difference does it make? Yeah, but what difference does
it makes a difference? It makes a difference.
Okay,
now or in the summer, of course.
I'll tell you why the timing
now means they might have.
Yeah, Habibi, okay, let me answer. I'll tell you the reason why the time doesn't matter on a real. If they sack Arteta now and get Iraola in, let's say, I'm going to use Iraola as the example. Okay. Very good offensive manager. I think he's the next big thing from the non-top 6 clubs. Let's say they get Iraola tomorrow. If they get him tomorrow, are they going to win the league or the Champions League? Probably not. Like, maybe they have a chance in the FA Cup. If they get him in the summer, he builds a squad like from the one that he wants and he buys players. So there's kind of advantages here, disadvantages there. But I really don't think Arteta will get them over the line. I just don't think he will. Because the season that Manchester City have 2 wins in 15, you're still not top of the league. That's the thing. That's why I don't feel sympathy towards Arsenal. And I had this conversation with Igal. I told him, listen, if you were top of the league and then Saka got injured and then you ended up losing the league because of Saka's injury, I'd have a bit sympathy. I'd have a bit more understanding. You lost your best player. I get it. Bukayo Saka is a very good player, very important player for Arsenal. However, because you were not top at the time of his injury, I have no sympathy. Because you weren't there even while he was there. So you have you have no excuses.
I'm not sure I agree with you completely about now. Might be at the end of the season because they still might win the FA Cup. Like, I think now it might take them backwards more than take them like forward, to be honest. Like, imagine if they get Raola now and they start losing games and they miss out completely on the Champions League. Imagine Newcastle, Nottingham Forest and Man City and Chelsea catch up to them because it's close. It's not that far. If I'm not mistaken, Man City are 6 points behind them. If I'm not mistaken. That is not a lot to catch.
That's horrible, Mo.
Exactly, but that's what I mean. So I don't think they should sack Arteta today because there is a danger of Arsenal missing out on top 4 if they continue play like this. If that gate is open and you start losing game at the Emirates and people start playing like Newcastle yesterday, because yes, they have Isak and Gordon. Other teams have good players too. Bournemouth have good players. They can hurt you at the Emirates as well.
Brighton have good players. Villa have good players.
If you start opening that gate, you're dropping points at the Emirates now. Where do we go from here? As Hossam always says, where do we go from here? Are you dropping out of the top 4 now? Is Arteta, after all these years, might miss out on the Champions League? Listen, I said that Arteta did a fantastic job. I said if my manager leaves, I'll take Arteta at my club. He did a fantastic job with his Arsenal team. I agree with Terry. And me and Osam agreed with this before. He made them challengers. They won a lot of games. But now, it was the year to deliver last season, and it was the year to deliver this season. And the cups are not even enough. You need to win the Champions League with the Premier League. But even losing the cups made it worse. You're not coming back from the Newcastle thing. Which a lot of Arsenal fans are saying, it's not over yet.
It's over. Give it up.
99% it is over. You're not rocking up to St. James's Park.
It's just not
no one's winning 3-0 at St. James's Park. No one. Not even
anyone right now.
But I don't understand. Arsenal fans think we're overreacting. Like, you
Salah
guys think
put in an all-time performance and we drew at the St. James's Park.
Exactly.
It's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen.
And he was in form.